In a democracy, we should have the rule of law and the separation of powers. Increasingly, we see that the formal separation of powers is being used by the government to target minorities through the judiciary. So just to give you a few examples of the way in which the law is used to target certain populations who are already very vulnerable and make them more vulnerable, I want to give you 3 examples. One is something that is common the world over, where you have marginal populations who find a greater representation in the prison population. So 60% of those in India who are held under preventive detention laws or are detainees and who have not yet been convicted come from the ranks of Muslims, Adivasis or indigenous people, and Dalits or former scheduled castes, formerly called untouchables. So the law is used to criminalize certain populations and subject them to the harassment of the judicial system. The second way in which this is happening is the use of the law to criminalize people who are actually victims of hate crimes. So there have been a number of cases in India where cow vigilantes or people who have decided that they can take the law into their own hands in the name of protecting the cow, have attacked cattle traders and people who are transporting cows for dairy purposes. And instead of filing cases against the vigilantes, they have filed cases against the traders and those who are being attacked. The third way is the fact that even the higher judiciary has, in the name of secularism, used the law, say about uniformity in school education, to keep out young women who wanted to wear the hijab, as part of their uniform. They have not been allowed to go to school wearing the hijab, and this is actually seriously interfering with their right against education. And instead of hearing their appeal, despite the fact that they were having exams, the Supreme Court has put it on the back burner. Very important constitutional cases have not been heard, particularly the abolition of Article 370, which was the route through which Kashmir acceded to India. It has not been heard since August 2019. The Citizenship Amendment Act, which has been challenged on the ground that it includes religion as a factor in citizenship, which is against the secular basic structure of the Constitution, that has not been heard for 2 years. Another case to do with electoral bonds, where there's a large amount of unaccounted, non-transparent money that is going into political parties, that is, and completely skewing the electoral system. Again, that has not been heard. So there are 3 or 4 different ways in which the judiciary is sending out a signal that even though it is separate, formally, technically separate from the government, it is supporting the government's agenda by not hearing certain cases, by enabling the criminalization of certain populations, by enabling the process of incarceration of people who were exercising their democratic right to nonviolent protest, and through the targeting of certain kinds of issues that it takes up and the issues that it chooses not to hear.